Akuffo Addo In share ni kutu pase onye sa hurika senintino. Ya anya ne hwe. They even told him say Jitum accept the responsibility. Kase wo na oyeye. And oka say me na me yeye. Ye say entwe na so but hwe yansi. Na obi a wadi bone e prepare ni pese. Na mi short commission, mi short oje NDC ni. Ye nyina ye nim ne bobre wo Ghana. Commission members ni ye nyina nim mo bobre. Omo hwe mu no mu hu so ono.
Lawyer Sami Jemfi, I na himself, or the National Communication Officer, demand the National Democratic Congress, no. Lawyer didn't say me abetuja. HM say a kwanya NPP 4% or mofa su wi abatu ni. Was NDC for hunini na. Any saying, was the President Akuffo Addo? Say watu obi a friend General Opoku say one day one sign that two work in na. Now with this General Opoku, not just say ni pay. Some years ago, which is in the 2020 election, this general and Chile Musai, Ayawa so West Rogon, about one, and send me a course of Kumpo be an course or no Wajia to say on in a year. Now, this man, he say Yatuni Posum, at that time, not just any post no from by say there, where you penny our Shanty regional, on the share associates phone in also. According to lawyers and media and finish Chilema, Nana Doni NPP for Ama Papai ballot papers no say according to Sami Jemfini my illegal. Number 2 mama police in card. Number 3 guns say Akuffo infamedi juma bone in this 2024 general election. According to Sami Jemfini Chirema, hey nipa na your friend chama wuntumi na je say obi agin say chama wuntumi na afi wo beboa me wi abatu o se chama wuntumi ni mu hwe Nemum a President Akuffo Addo and any Muslim na bibi. Now this man who goes by the name General Opoku or no Yashane boss say Senyame Adumnes NPP for Winia. Yebema na beye the Chief of Defense Staff Emma Ghana soldiers. Yenkotie nini na amra.
Paragraph 3.4 and 3.5. So this is an extract from the Short Commission report on the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election mayhem. And if you read paragraph 3.4, this is what the commission had to say. This is not the NDC talking. This is not Sami Jemfi talking. This is the Short Commission constituted by Nana Akuffo Addo himself. I quote, the commission recommends the reprimand of Colonel Michael Opoku, at the time he was a colonel, for being ultimately responsible for the outcome of the SWAT operation at the Labaoleshi School polling station. His liability is further reinforced by his failure to properly define the mission for which the SWAT team was sent and ensuring that the SWAT team complied with the defined mission. Further, he failed to conduct an internal inquiry into identifying the culprits of the offense when revelations became rife that there were operational lapses resulting in violations of human rights. If you go on to paragraph 3.5 of the Commission's report, it says, quote, it is further recommended that Colonel Opoku be made to immediately release the weapons used for as well as the persons involved in the operation to enable ballistic testing and analysis to be undertaken and for further investigations by the police. Now, sadly, but unsurprisingly, President Akuffo Addo, under whose leadership the said atrocities were committed by Colonel Opoku and his bandits, rejected the findings of the commission in his infamous white paper. To add insult to injury, President Akuffo Addo and the NPP have now promoted this man to the high rank of Brigadier General and rewarded him with the position of General Officer Commanding of the Central Command of the Ghana Armed Forces. I must say, the revered Ghana Armed Forces. This is what has further emboldened him to champion yet another election rigging scheme through violence. In his current position, and for those who don't know, this is a position given to him only in 2024. He was appointed in April and inducted in July of this year. And if you can go back to that green image, the extract from the Ghana Armed Forces website, you will see it. Central Command inducts Brigadier General Opoku into office. And if you look at the date, is 16 July 2024. So this is not a mere coincidence. This is the chief hatchet man of Akuffo Addo and the NPP, strategically promoted when he should be reprimanded and punished, and rewarded with this critical position as a central, the commanding officer of the Central Command. And when we say Central Command, the headquarters of the Central Command is Kumasi, Ashanti region to be precise. I'm happy that the former regional minister and chair of RECSEC, Dr. Samuel Sapon, is here. In his current position, Brigadier General Opoku has been mandated by President Akuffo Addo to take charge of a well-crafted scheme that has been designed by the NPP to rig the upcoming elections, particularly in the Ashanti region. Through ballot stuffing, swapping of ballot boxes, swapping of pink sheets, and other clandestine activities, starting with a special voting exercise scheduled for December 2nd of this year. Having relocated his family to the United Kingdom, Brigadier General Opoku has vowed to do all it takes to carry out his shady election rigging plots in exchange for the position of Chief of Defense Staff in the unlikely event that the NPP wins the 2024 elections. So for him, it's personal. And those who know him will tell you that he openly brags that on December 7th and December 2nd, they will kill NPP supporters like flies. NDC supporters like flies. Ladies and gentlemen, the NDC has received reliable intel to the effect that Brigadier General Opoku is responsible for the training of NPP thugs at Asuchuari military camp and other places. And he plans to clothe these bandits in military apparel to unleash violence on NDC agents, supporters, and innocent civilians on 7th December 2024 and 2nd December 2024, the special voting day. The NDC acknowledges and commends personnel in our security agencies who work tirelessly to protect our dear nation and are determined to protect the votes of suffering Ghanaians. Let me repeat this for emphasis. The National Democratic Congress acknowledges and commends personnel in our security agencies who work tirelessly to protect our dear nation and are determined to protect the votes of suffering Ghanaians. Sadly, unlike the many professional and noble men and women in Ghana's security agencies, Brigadier General Opoku has turned himself into a rabid NPP functionary who openly mobilizes funds from businessmen in Kumasi for the New Patriotic Party. Per our credible intel, Brigadier General Opoku's residence in Kumasi is currently the storage facility of weapons, illegally printed ballot papers, military apparels, and other election materials, which the NPP intends to use to execute this dastardly and subversive agenda. When you hear Akuffo Addo says that he will never hand over to President John Dramani Mahama, even though he knows that should elections be held today, he will emerge victorious. This is their plan. This is his hatchet man, positioned to unleash yet another violence on innocent civilians so that they can subvert the will of the people. Ladies and gentlemen, in Brigadier General Michael Opoku, we have an officer with a notorious track record unbecoming of the command he holds. This devious character carries the mayhem and brutality he supervised at Ayawaso West Wagon as a badge of dishonor. A person like him has no place in the current environment where Ghanaians are calling for violence-free elections. Given his history, we in the NDC call for his immediate removal from his position as General Officer Commanding of the Central Command. And miscreants like that should not be allowed anywhere near the security architecture for the impending 2024 general elections. The NDC wishes to serve notice, and notice is hereby served, to Brigadier General Michael Opoku and his ilk in the New Patriotic Party, that we have them under our radar, and we will continue to monitor them with eagle eyes. This time around, he and his ilk shall not succeed. Violence cannot and will not win the NPP this year's election. The NDC calls on the Inspector General of Police, who is a chairman of the Election Security Task Force, not to allow any person to usurp his authority. Ghanaians still await justice for the 8 innocent Ghanaians who were shot and killed during the 2020 elections, including those shot in broad daylight at Techiman South. We have not forgotten how in Kabronum, in Banda, an innocent teacher trainee who doubles as an evangelist called Silas was stabbed and murdered in cold blood by MPP hoodlums. Until date, the perpetrators are walking free. And as a result, today you have a useless character, a buffoon like Abronye, who goes to Banda, the very place that young man was murdered. Not too long ago, a few days ago, he goes to that place and he says that in this year's election, more people will be murdered than we saw at Techiman. Well, I have news for him. If he tries anything silly, he will not live to see the aftermath of this year's election. Because the people of this country will not sit aloof and allow innocent Ghanaians to be murdered. I'm just coming from Banda, where I concluded my Bono tour. And if you go there today, the police commander there and the Electoral Commission district officer have all been transferred. And you should see the kind of tensions that are beginning to rise in the area. This is not what we want for Ghana. Elections are about counting hairs and not cutting hairs. No single person in Ghana must lose their life because of an election. Because this is about the people's free will to decide for themselves those they deem fit to lead them. So we are calling on the Inspector General of Police, who is a chairman of the Election Security Task Force, not to allow any persons to usurp his authority. The IGP and the Election Security Task Force must get to the bottom of this election rigging plot and stop Brigadier General Opoku and his thugs from embarking on another Techiman-styled killings. The IGP owes a duty to the people of Ghana to be firm and fair-minded to ensure peace during and after the December 7th elections. In this regard, we in the NDC assure him of our fullest cooperation. We also call on the Chief of Defense Staff to institute investigations into these important issues and bring Brigadier General Opoku to book. We are aware that as we speak, he is sabotaging him because he has the backing of Akuffo Addo. And so he doesn't respect upon paper. He has been promised that help us maim, intimidate, harass, kill people so that the MPP can rig the election. And when we win, you'll be made CDS. And so he doesn't even give a hoot about the CDS. But the CDS owes a duty to Ghana and the oath he has sworn to put his foot down and ensure that this guy is called to order. The NDC, and by extension the people of Ghana, will hold the IGP and the Chief of Defense Staff and our security heads responsible for the loss of a single life in the 2024 general elections. As I have already said, elections are about counting heads and not cutting heads. No person must lose his or her life on the altar of elections. Friends from the media, peace has a price. And all of us, well-meaning Ghanaians, must be prepared to pay that price for peace to prevail in Ghana before, during, and after the 2024 general elections. One of the ways to preserve the peace and stability of Ghana is to join hands in condemning persons who have the tendency and proclivity of compromising free, fair, and peaceful elections. With barely 18 days to the December 7 polls, the NDC is confident, 100% confident of a resounding victory if the elections are free, fair, and peaceful. This is because the NDC has a superior presidential candidate with a superior vision and message, backed by a superior proven track record. The upcoming election is a choice between a trustworthy, reliable, and honest leader in the person of His Excellency.
Kalkum, where you ampa. That's lawyer Sami Jemfi. But sometimes we think that some things are allegations. If we say we don't know sense because there is no evidence. Back at the now. But according to Sami Jemfi, or he nipa wire the any bidano. Yen Jane and Hong say, oh, Chama, really want to mean it. And I say we need evidence in this whole thing. Mr. Okai, and subscribe. After the next thing is for you to also leave your comment. And then you share with our CP.
This is the BJ Show with Boatin Josant. Don't forget to subscribe.